Welcome to the Ameer Rosic Show, the premium podcast for helping you master your mindset and win at life. As always, this episode is brought to you by OHN, the premium mastermind community for coaches. If you're looking to create that six-figure business working with dream clients, head over to optimizeme.club. Now, without further ado, let's start the show.
How's it going?
Yo, Benny, what's up, bro?
Good. Oh, it's nice and sunny here in LA. So.
Oh yeah. That's good. It's nice and minus 20 here in Toronto.
Oh my God. So sorry for you guys.
It's bad, man. We have one of the coldest winters ever.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I mean, my friends in New York are complaining about the cold too, so I can only imagine.
At least we're not in Buffalo, bro. Buffalo got fucking hit hard this year.
Oh, serious?
Oh, God. Like the worst ever recorded winter in history.
Really?
Yeah. They had, I think it was like at the beginning of December, they had in 48 hours, 3.5 feet of snowfall.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, man. So it's good to be not in Buffalo.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
So what's new, man? What's been happening?
You know, just same old work. I mean, you know, we've been, you know, doing stories, growing the site. I mean, you know,
growing the site, bro. The site's fucking huge. I just checked. You have 1.4 million hits a month.
Yeah, man. That's what. Yeah, we get around 1 to 2 million page views a month now. So you know, which has been good. I mean, consider we've only been around for you know, just a little over a year.
That's crazy, man.
So.
And I did some spying on you.
Did you?
Yeah, I just typed in your website to SimilarWeb.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the things. It's crazy. Well, just this website saying 96% of all your traffic is through Facebook.
That's true. I would say that's very accurate.
Wow. That's impressive, man. 1 year, 1.4 million roughly.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been it's been growing really quick, I think.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you know, being like the ambitious guy I am, you know, I wish it could still be growing faster. I mean, it's never enough, you know, as an entrepreneur. You always want to, you know, look at the eye of the prize. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned before this is just through AdSense, like, or advertisers pay you.
Yeah, advertisers pay me right now. I mean, like, we're looking to expand it into, you know, different advertising models, like, in the near future.
Yeah.
But we're definitely doing more. We're definitely starting to do more than just simple display ads. I mean, we have people reaching to us now doing sponsored posts. And so, you know, and those typically pay out pretty well. So, you know, so those have been doing pretty good. And then we're also looking into doing some brand deals with our YouTube videos as well. So, but yeah, for the most part, you know, we work with different ad networks. We don't mainly work with AdSense that much anymore, just because, you know, they don't really pay out as much, and the CPMs aren't typically as high.
Yeah.
So we work with multiple ad networks, and you know, just to figure out what's the most optimal for us.
That's crazy. At this like rate, man, by next year you probably hit like 3 million.
Man, I mean, honestly, like it's gonna sound crazy and delusional, but you know, I want to hit like 10 million a month by the end of this year.
Wow.
It sounds super crazy, but like, you know, that's just my goal. You know.
But you guys are aggregating a lot of content.
We're aggregating a lot of content, but at the same time too, like we're really starting to. Well, our original articles are actually starting to get a lot of traction too, because you know, on our end, like we don't want to be, you know, we don't want to just be a. How do you say it? Like, we don't want to just be like a content, like a site that curates content.
Yeah.
We want to actually break our own stories and create our own original content and get, you know, cited by different sources and whatnot. So we want to be a reputable source. That's kind of our goal too, aside from just, you know, being a high traffic site.
Well, what got you originally started with NextShark? Like, what was the idea? Where did it come from?
Well, I mean, how do you say it? So basically, I don't know like how much digging you did on me, but I had another site prior to this called newmediarockstars.com, and it was basically an online magazine focused on covering the whole digital space and the whole like trend of YouTube celebrities and, you know, bloggers, you know, building their businesses online. And so that grew pretty big. I would say we were definitely one of the first, you know, publications out there to really cover the space. And it was really relevant at the time because more and more people were getting interested in these like YouTube vloggers and creators that were making, six figures a month, just like, vlogging about their life or putting out, content online. And, there was even like the story of like the reply girl, which was basically like this girl that would use her cleavage as a thumbnail on all her YouTube videos. And then when they went on the videos, it was just her talking about her life. It was just like nothing. It was nothing substantial about it. And so, but people were clicking on it because, I guess like people like clicking on boobs online. So there was a lot of click-through rate that was happening. And she was making like, I think reportedly 15 to 20 grand a month just off those like videos. And it got so bad to the point where it spawned replicas, and YouTube actually had to change their algorithm because of her.
Wow. So then you sold off that company.
Yeah, I did. I sold off that company. We did really well. I mean, we became like, I would say, in my opinion, the number one, leader in that space. I mean, we were cited by, BBC, MSNBC, Fox News, Huffington Post. I mean, pretty much every single mainstream outlet you could really think of, like, we've been cited by for that publication. So I sold that company, and, I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And for me, and it kind of dawned on me because as an entrepreneur, I was always reading sites like TechCrunch and Forbes and, a lot of different sites targeting business and entrepreneurship. And I always felt that a lot of them kind of, I think that a lot of them, in a sense, targeted different things. Like, for example, like you have TechCrunch and Pando Daily targeting, the whole Silicon Valley and the whole like tech innovation and everything. And then, Forbes like they've been around for a while, and I feel like they have a much like older audience, and, and I see a lot of them, covering finance and whatnot. And I felt like there really wasn't a reputable, I guess, business site out there targeting the millennial audience. And on top of that, I felt that, there really wasn't a site out there that focused, businesses beyond the whole tech and Silicon Valley space, because I felt that, entrepreneurship is much more than just, that. And so, I wanted to create a cool, fun site where people could, be informed of, current events in the business world, read interviews on, leaders that are just, that are beyond, the typical people that you read about. And we just wanted to potentially break cool stories in the space. So
did you find, you founded this yourself or with partners?
I'm the founder, but we also have I would say, at this point, 5 other shareholders. Some of our guys, include a professional celebrity photographer in LA. Her name is Melly Lee. I've been working with her for a long time, and she was a co-founder of my last company too. And so, we also have a guy named Sean Willis who basically does all our cinematography and videos on our site, and he's basically has worked with a lot of the big YouTube musicians. Like, I would say his videos online that he's worked on have gone like, I would say, 250 million views.
Wow, impressive.
So, 250 million, not million.
Yeah, B people with a billion.
Yeah, exactly.
So you started this, it's not less, like a year and a half now?
Yeah, maybe just under a year and a half, I would say. I don't even want to say I don't even want to say a year and a half yet. So, it's still relatively young. Yeah.
So how often right now are you updating on the website? Like, is it like 2-3 articles a day now, or?
No, I mean, we try to do like at least like 5 articles a day, 5 to 10. I mean, we're really ramping up, building our contributors. And
so, I was going to ask you about that. Is like, are you personally putting up these articles? Like, how does it work? Like, do you have a team who just constantly, their job is like formatting stuff and just putting it on the website?
Yeah, we have like, I would say we have like four full-time writers on the site. And then I also do writing on the site as well. But we also have a ton of contributors that contribute for the site. And, it's pretty cool. So, the funny thing is, the bigger you grow, the more people that are going to reach out to you to write for the site.
Funny, Chris Rock talks about this. Like, the richer I get, the more free shit I get.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's crazy. And, and it's cool because, we had somebody contribute for the site a couple months back. And, he said, hey, I want to write an article for you guys. And, let's, and, would you want to post one of this? And I said, yeah, sure, it looks cool. So we posted it, and believe it or not, it actually got cited by the New York Times.
Wow.
So, so he definitely, got some good exposure out of it, and now he can say his articles have gotten cited by the New York Times.
You have some really impressive people, though, on there. Like, I'm just on the website right now. You had a chance to see Manny Pacquiao?
Yeah, we have people like Manny Pacquiao. We have people like Ameer Rosic.
Ameer Rosic and Manny in one sentence. Booyah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, So we have a lot of cool people, and I think that if you look at the people that we've interviewed, you'll see a lot of diversity in it. We don't just look into tech executives or the typical like tech entrepreneur that you see everywhere else. Our goal is to interview a lot of tastemakers, a lot of different thought leaders from different industries, and interview them on success and how they got to where they are. Because I feel that everybody has their goals of success. There's people that say, hey, I want to make this much money to be successful, but not many people are like that. Some people say, hey, I want to change the world, or I want to, fix world hunger, and that's their definition of success. So we kind of wanted to highlight that. If that makes sense.
Well, what type of mindset did you come in with when you first started NextShark? Was it for, because I want the audience to understand that you have an overall vision, right? It wasn't just you having this brilliant idea, because it takes execution as you're doing it so beautifully. So what type of mindset did you have first approaching this?
I mean, I think for me, I think that it wasn't that concrete, I would say. I would say that, number one, I saw a need in the space. And number two, I saw opportunities there because, I really love telling stories. Like I'm a storyteller, and for me, I've been in position, and for me, like I'm not so much driven by money, but I'm definitely driven by being able to meet really cool people and being able to tell their stories. Because if you look at the people that we've interviewed, like Manny Pacquiao or Tony Hsieh, the guy that just sold his company to Amazon for $1 billion. It's tough to get in front of these people, even with some sort of clout, or even with like.
Well, let's talk about that. Like, how did you get Pacquiao and Tony Hsieh on NextShark?
Oh man, everybody, it's going to be surprising, and this is 100% true. I would say all the big interviews that I've gotten. I mean, even with starting from newmediarockstars.com, where we've interviewed people like Bill Nye, the Science Guy, to people like Brian McKnight, to the people that I interview currently in NextShark. I mean, it took a lot of hustling. I mean, I would say when I first started out, I was on IMDb Pro, which is like this site, which is like this entertainment database. And I would just cold call agents and publicists and just like tell them about my company and figure out ways to, get them to introduce me to their PR people so that I can network with these guys and get interviews that way. I mean, I think I would make at least 30, sometimes even 50 calls a day, just in front of my desk, just trying to hustle. And it's the same idea right now. I mean, with Tony Hsieh, that was me, finding his email, which is not very hard to find, and just reaching out to him and trying to convince him. And for Tony Hsieh, it took me I think 2.5 years just to try to get him for him to finally say yes. And I think that over time, it's a numbers game, right? I mean, the more people you reach out to, the more yeses you're going to potentially get. And once you get that one big interview, and that builds a lot of credibility for your site. I mean, now that we've got Manny Pacquiao and people like the voice of Siri, I mean, those are big names that we can use to reach out to for bigger interviews. And, I'm not sure if you've seen the interview. Have you seen that the interview movie with Seth Rogen?
I haven't seen it yet. I've been planning to see it. Yeah.
So I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a very pivotal moment in there, and it's a comedy film, but it was very, very relevant in the film, and I think it's relevant to this conversation. And it was basically James Franco is interviewing, I guess, the leader of North Korea, right? And James Franco is unhappy because the leader of North Korea wants to regulate the interview. He wants only specific questions to be asked. And so basically, it's basically him asking himself questions, and James Franco is just not very happy with it. And Seth Rogen's like, look, you got to look at it this way. Let him have whatever he wants, because once we get this fucking interview, we can get anybody we want, and we can ask them whatever the fuck we want. It's the same. It's kind of the same. It's the same concept, right? So, and I think that to get big interviews and to really do anything, it really just takes hustle. I'm not a big fan of asking people for introductions and because for me, and this is just for me, I'm not saying that it's bad for anybody else to do it, but for me, when I do certain things, I want to earn it. I want people to do it because they see it as a good product. I don't want people to do it because this person told them to do it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's always been my philosophy.
At the end of the day, it's about the grind and hustle, and that's the thing people need to realize. You're picking up the phone 30 times in one day and calling up every single person possible to get you connected with, for example, Mania.
Yeah, I mean, I have no shame. I mean, I think that just because my title is CEO or whatever, it doesn't mean that I'm too good to cold call, or I'm too good to personally try to make calls and work these things out. Like you said, it takes work, it takes hustle, and it takes yeah.
That's awesome. So where do you see NextShark going in the next, say, year from now?
I mean, I think that I just, for now, my goal is just growth. I mean, I told you now, I have this crazy goal of wanting to get, to 10 million page views a month by the end of this year, which I'm sure sounds crazy and delusional to most of the people listening here. And I wanted to become a reputable source for business news targeting the millennial audience. I mean, we're really shifting to focusing on young people that are really making a difference in the world, whether it's from a business sense or whether it's from I guess realistic sense, or however you want to say it. So just focus on growth. That's about it.
What advice do you have for any up and coming entrepreneurs who really want to maybe kind of create something similar to what you have?
I mean, I think that if anything, you just have to make sure that you're passionate in the story that you're telling. For me, I'm passionate in telling stories about business and telling stories about people that want to be successful in their respective industries. I mean, if you're interested in fashion, I mean, whatever subject matter that you want to target, you just got to make sure that you're passionate in telling that story, because if you're not passionate in telling that story, it's going to come off as inauthentic and you're not going to create good content. And I think that in the world where there's so much noise and anybody can create a blog now, I think that authenticity and being able to put out great stuff is at a bigger need than ever. I think that I listened into a panel discussion recently. I forgot who said it, but it was from a Vanity Fair. It was by an event thrown by Vanity Fair, and I think that one of the speakers said something like, no algorithm is going to save that content. And I think that that's really important, because a lot of people right now, they try to game SEO, or they try to game Facebook to try to get more views or whatever. And I think that ultimately it comes to producing great content. As long as you have great content, you're going to be able to stand the test of time, and you're not going to have to depend on these little sort of hacks to get up there. So I think my biggest advice is be passionate in what you're writing about, and be authentic in the voice and the content you're trying to produce. I think that you'll see success.
Tim Ferriss said it in one of his podcasts. He's like, you got to write epic shit. And I think a lot of times people are just writing subpar articles and not being themselves. You hear it too, in the world of marketing. It's oh, you have to do this for SEO. The blog post has to be, 1,000 words, whatever the hell it is. That thing changes month to month, right? These algorithms. People connect with who you are.
Yeah.
So, so be yourself, be authentic, be raw, because the most beautiful thing about that is no one can duplicate you.
Yep. Very true. See? I mean, even if you look at Lil Wayne and Drake, I mean, Drake is signed with, Lil Wayne's label, and even then they had this conversation once where, I think Lil Wayne was all you don't got to get tattoos. You don't got to look like me. You don't got to act like me. I mean, you be the man that I can never be, and you're gonna and you'll reach that road to success eventually. So, same idea.
Now, I see, because you said at the beginning, though, that you have a good team around you. How pivotal was that to the success of NextShark, having those like key players with you?
Oh, absolutely. Huge success. I mean, I would not be here with the amazing teams that I have, and with Melly Lee, who's our photographer. I mean, I've worked with her ever since college, and I think for her, I've seen her kind of grow from amateur photographer to professional photographer, and I think that to have somebody that understands the visuals and to take compelling photos all the time, like that really helps with the site. I mean, sometimes we'll get big interviews just because they get to shoot with her, and then for somebody like Sean Willis, who understands the YouTube game so well, who's our videographer, that helps with the content. I mean, I see for all of us. As all of us are tools, including myself, and I think that we're current mediums that work together as one unit to create a great product, and I think that that's really important. And we recently brought on an editor-in-chief, Alan Van, who's also a partner in the company. I worked with him at when I was at New Media Rockstars. He worked for my prior company. I mean, and him, like, he's so meticulous when it comes to I guess, like grammar and editorial voice and everything. I mean, he's like, on it all the time. And I think that to have people that are perfectionists in their own craft, like that's what really helps the team come together to create badass products.
Well, let's rewind a little bit, because you knew some of them before you decided to build NextShark, right? And some you didn't, right?
Yeah.
The ones that you didn't know, how did you get them on your team?
This is going to sound even crazier, to be honest. I mean, we have our managing editor, who's also, a stakeholder in the company, Whaley. He's a managing editor. I found him through Craigslist.
That's awesome. Okay?
I found him through Craigslist. And, it sounds crazy, but I think that for me, you got to take risk, and obviously, when I brought him on board, I tested him out before we really brought him on board, and we gave him a couple months to figure out whether we work well together. But the team I found was, and a lot of the teams that we found prior to that too has been on Craigslist, or they've been through friends, but
So what did you do? You typed in, for example, chief editor Craigslist or something?
Oh, I just basically said, hey, I'm looking for, I'm looking to bring partners onto my site. This is my, I just sold a company, and I really want to, help build my team. And if anybody's interested, reach out to me. And I got a couple people, and I kind of looked through, resumes. I looked through people's histories and stuff, and I kind of deduced it down from there. So
now this was everybody the same approach. Like, you brought on a couple of people doing the exact same thing?
Yeah, Alan Van, our current editor-in-chief right now, he started off as a writer for my first company, New Media Rockstars. And it's hilarious because, we found him through Craigslist too. And you know what? The funny thing was he approached us without a resume, and it was 2 sentences. He was like, hey, it was something like, I don't have any published works or anything, but I can assure you I am a writer with the utmost talent. Just give me a chance, and I will make sure to impress you and to show you how talented I am. And we gave him a shot just as a lowly writer, and within a couple months we promoted him to editor-in-chief because he was just that good. And we were even getting fan mail from people saying, hey, this guy Alan Van, his writing is incredible. And and Alan's been successful in his own right. I mean, since we promoted him and he's at New Media Rockstars. He was cited by the New York Times. He was cited by Self Magazine with Condé Nast and The Guardian. And so and so I think that goes to show it takes risk, right? I mean, you got to make bets on people that you might not know, and partners don't always have to be people that you know are your life, because sometimes you're not going to know big players in your network, and the people that you hang out with are not necessarily going to be the type of people that are going to help you succeed in this current venture, if that makes sense.
No, you need the right people at the right time.
Yeah.
Right. So I just finished reading Jim Collins' book, Classic. Good to Great.
Yeah.
And he talks about it. He's like, before doing anything, like regardless of the business idea, is you got to have the right people. Right. And the right people, it can be somebody that never had a business, but they're gifted at, for example, writing. It can be somebody who just connects people very well. So at the end of the day, I have yet not met the person nor entrepreneur that has done it by himself or herself. Everything. You got to have people. You don't have the damn seconds in the day to be doing everything.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%. You need other people. You can't do it all by yourself.
But I love that Craigslist hack. It's simple. It's like you just put it out and people replied.
Yeah, I mean, look, what do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? I mean, you have creepers hitting you up. Okay, whatever. I mean, I guarantee you the more people that hit you up, the more chances you're going to find that golden nugget. And it just, in the end, it takes the work,
Now, for future references, for future hiring, what are you going to do?
Future hiring, I mean, I'm not going to, I still am not going to change. I mean, obviously, if people give us introductions or they refer people to us, and which people are currently doing, that's perfectly fine. But if there's any certain point in time when we're having trouble finding people, back to the drawing board, man. Craigslist.
That's amazing. All right, Benny, we're going to start wrapping up over here. Do you have any final last words for anybody, like some type of tips or anything if they want to go out there and go in the grind?
Go on the grind. I mean, what is a good tip? What is a good tip? I think that to kind of recap, if you want to write good content, whether it's a blog or whether it's video content, like any sort of media that you want, I think that the key thing is to really write content that you like and write content that you're passionate enough for and for people that are going to be interested in it. So, for example, I think about a year and a half ago, I was in a panel talk with Tim Ferriss, and he basically said, "Hey, when I started out my blog, I wrote to people that were similar to me." And I think that that's a key. If whenever you're producing content, you're going to hit certain roadblocks of how do you position this content, and it can get kind of confusing, right? But I think the easiest way to do it is to just write and produce content to people like yourself. And I think that once you position that, you're gonna slowly grow from there. Right
on, I love it. Benny, where can people get more information about you?
Well, you can check out my website, bennyluo.com, BENNYLUO.com. That's kind of like my blog and consulting site. And you can check out my website, my online magazine, NextShark.com.
Awesome.
That's it.
Thank you, Benny, and have an awesome day, bro.
Thank you. Take care.
Cheers.